Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It is Wednesday. I'm sorry, it's Tuesday. It's March 17th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And it seems like this month is just flying by. I'm trying to steal another day away, saying it's Wednesday, but no, I believe it's Tuesday. It is March 17th. I apologize for yesterday, the volume issue. I think I've finally resolved it. I have a wireless headphone that I use for uh, creating these videos, and it plugs into the USB port, and for whatever reason it wasn't making a good connection, I think. So um, if I accidentally bump, actually have my desktop under my desk and near my feet, and sometimes I bump it a little bit, and I think I was bumping it, and it was connecting and disconnecting and not making a clear connection. So I unplugged it, plugged it back in, and it seems to be working. So hopefully we won't have any more volume problems. I apologize. You don't know how frustrating it is for me to sit there and talk for 20 or 30 minutes and then find out there's no volume. I'm sure the chart, just seeing it, is still beneficial, but obviously it's probably not as beneficial as it would be if if you had the audio with it. So, but anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get this chart lesson done for today. Um, Pretty good movement today. We had a nice downtrend with a break here and moved to it. We really just kind of came out of this and reversed. We really didn't. There was actually a close outside here, which you wouldn't know. I mean, the fact that it closed outside and it traded way up uh, leads me to believe that on some charts it probably closed further out. So this was probably enough, and there's two legs down, and then we rallied out of there. And there's actually one trade I missed here. There's actually a couple of these that could be green. This one actually is blue right here, not green. I like this one a lot. And then the one next to it really could be green, so I'm going to mark it green. Forgot those two, but they're pretty important trades really. And there's really one right here too that you can mark green, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark it too. So we'll talk about them. Sometimes if I don't mark them, I forget to talk about them. But anyway, let's back up. The start of the day, we had this big move down, and then we're moving up, and had a little trap. It's hard. Let me back out of here. Somebody asked me yesterday, or maybe today, how you back in and out of your chart. If you just hold the control button down and go, that's button down, button up. And notice this little F up here. Sometimes you have to hit that because it gets it out of whack, and that straightens it back up to normal. So if you fade in or out or move this a little bit, just hit that F and it takes it back to normal. But just so you know, um, NinjaTrader has a list of a whole library of videos that show you how to do anything. And this software, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't know how to do personally. I know what I know how to do. I use I love it. But there's a lot of stuff I don't even know that you can do with this. And somebody will send me little tips and hints occasionally, and sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. But I'm a creature of habit. You get used to doing something, and you just get used to doing it that way. And there's actually a little trend line working right up through here, so I need to put that one on there. But let's talk about the trades. When I came in, we had this big move down, and then we're correcting. And notice how it broke a little higher, then turned back down. I like to go in short right there. I probably would use a limit order, although it didn't matter here. And I really almost made this one green um, because of the trend line. But I believe there's also a shorter term trend line right here. And we did have a closeout and attempt to go higher. Um, Usually when you have a move this strong, you're going to test that low pretty quickly. So I felt okay taking this one, although you can see it didn't go much further and it hesitated. And I think that's because there's probably a trend line working right along there like so. And it could be a little bit steeper than that actually. It's probably more like that right there. Uh, like so. And but there was enough room there, I felt like, and if you use the limit order especially, Um, but it was a quick, easy move, and then it comes up, and I didn't like going short there because this one bounced so quick. But when it broke higher and you had another little failed break higher, then I liked it, and it comes on down. Um, this is more of a trading range, and I really think that outweighs the trend here. And you see, I couldn't really get that to fit up there, even though I still think it's somewhat valid. I believe most people are probably looking at this one, and so it's like we tested it once. We made a high here. We tested it once. We tested it twice, and you really could have entered there, but I just wasn't sure about it. So when it tried to go higher again and failed, you got to figure they got people trapped, and that was a nice easy move down. And guess where it bounces right at that low. And so then it's obvious we kind of got a little trading range, even though you could have this uh, possibly in place here simply because you could draw this trend line across here. But I really think you had to wait for this high to get this and to be certain exactly where the line might be. And then you draw the one down at the bottom, and then you find the center point, and you can see it fits really nicely down through there. So I believe that to be correct. But you probably wouldn't have this double two-tiered in here until this high was in place. And so at that point, I was treating this like a trading range. Um, I didn't like going long here. This was a good trade, but I didn't like going long here because it's too close to the eye right there, and there's a good chance it does just like that and turns back down. But it did. It broke on through. But now you got a failed break out the top of that, and look how far that is away from the EMA. It's probably going to snap back at least to the EMA, but it just shoots right on through. Um, and then, of course, you should have drawn your line there and drug it down and find the midpoint, and then you would have noticed that. And you would have realized, hey, we're probably at least coming to here, but we might get on through and go all the way down to here. And for whatever reason, it didn't make it all the way to the lows. But I believe it was because more people were looking at this as a trading range and not seeing the bigger picture yet. Um, and so they treated this like a failed break lower and started buying it. But these were three pretty nice setups, and there's really another one right in there you could have taken. But I just didn't like it. It is a failed second entry long, but I wasn't sure what was going on yet right then. I wasn't sure if there was a trend line across here. Even if I know there's one right here, and we didn't have a new high yet, so there's a chance that it does. See, and I thought really they were going to trap people low, but you don't want to go long into that either. So, okay, I had a big interruption there. I've been gone for a little bit. I'm not even sure where we left off. I think we were talking about this trade, but this looked like a trading range. We traded down into it, so you figure we'll probably succeed trading down to the lower side. But we failed out the top, and so look, notice how far away that is from the EMA. So there's reasons to go short there. I'd probably use a limit order. You would have got filled a tick or so back into that bar, and that was a nice move down. I don't think I would enter here because the midline is there. And even if you didn't see that, you have this support right across here. It did shoot right on through. And then there's a good chance it's going to fail out the low side. Even if not, it's probably going to come back and test this breakout area. And look how far away it is from the EMA, just like it was up here. And you get you're even further away here. So you get a good opportunity to take a scalp on the way back. And of course, what does it do? It does go all the way uh, back up to the upper trend line. It kind of confirms it here and then takes off. It's hard to say if there's really a break here. I'm guessing there is. You know, you might could even draw this a little flatter like so. But if you use those closes, you still get that break even drawing it flatter like that. Actually, you don't. If you draw it right off those closes, it keeps it inside right there. Let's just see how that fits all the way down. So, I mean, this is a good example. You don't have to get it exactly. That still doesn't get you across this bottom, though. So, and that's why I was thinking it might be a little flatter. Um, and the other lines tend to fit. So I'm going to stick with what we got. I'm not going to try to change it. But it does show that sometimes you can be just a little off or a little different. It doesn't mean you got it wrong. But generally, it'll fit. Your midline will fit well. And you can see that that's, that midline is holding, based on the closes and the way it's bouncing and so forth. So it looks pretty good there. So, but for that reason, I didn't like going long here. If there'd been a good setup bar here, maybe. I mean, you could have gone long here because there is a trap, but that's a doji. This closes a doji. Um, I wasn't sure that we wouldn't go on down and try to hit this lower line. So that was the reason I was leery of this. Plus, it's the first break of this little channel. Um, so that led you to go, because you may move up here for a retest of the high. But I just think that I'll go ahead and mark it green because there's some reasons to consider taking that. I'll be honest with you, I didn't take it though. I didn't like it. Get this one over the right bar there. And then of course it turns down right off the trend line. It broke out the top first. You could have just had a stop here, but the way I entered this, I waited for it to break lower and I dropped a limit order a tick or so back in, and it did kill it. And then you get an easy scalp, but it comes back again. But when it turns down right here, you don't want to enter here because look, it's right into that support that keeps on holding right there. So you need a better entry point than that. But when it comes back and it fails higher here, you get that big reversal bar. You should have had a stop when it broke below that bar. And if you did, you would have got filled. Even if you did, it backed up momentarily, so you might have had a chance to get in, but otherwise you may not have got in that trade. And this was a good move down again. And I really thought we'd get a measured move here. I didn't like entering right here because there was too much overlap and it's right into the EMA, so it could have backed up and given you a trap and then gone lower. There's some reasons to consider that one, but I just think it's too risky to enter there. But if you were still in, I would have measured this like so and been looking for that measured move. And especially when a measured move winds up right down here where you would expect it, the trend line to hit, that's a reason to consider, to hold on as long as you can. But you did get the break here and a move to a new low, and then it reversed. I wouldn't go long here until you got the trap here. Notice the new low, pull back first entry short, pull back second entry short. And I wouldn't go short here on the second entry either, because you just got too much overlap there. I would just sit tight, and you're looking for prices to come back up here probably, especially when we missed this down here twice. For some reason, there's something's going on. But here's the thing too. There's a short, if you're using the shorter term trend lines, you've got your break and a new low. So there's a good chance you're going to rally here. And so I like that for a long. It confirms that your first two swings set the trend line. That confirmed it. It gave you a failed second entry short. It bounces off the EMA. All kind of reasons to go long right there. And then it backs up again. And it's a nice channel, and you get a break of it here and a chance to go long, and this thing just keeps going this time. This is like a breakout pullback, bounce off the trend line, second entry long, breakout pullback short, and then you get a failed second entry short. Notice that pullback first entry, pullback second entry, and now you got to be thinking, hey, we're maybe going on. We're at least probably going to test this high, but there's a good chance that there's a measured distance up here, and so you're looking for. I liked entering that one. It's a big bullish bar. It scared me at first. It did pull back there. You actually could have entered there because it's like a pullback test, but you're so close here that it's a little, and you did get a break, so it now you got a close outside, so it's a little bit questionable there, but I'll those. And then you get a first entry, pullback. That's not a very good signal bar, so you might, if you waited on this bar and you got a break above it, you might use a limit order there. I like that idea. It's a little risky, so I did mark it green. And then you get a pullback and you get that little trap, and even though you got a break down here, I think that you could treat this like a new break, especially with that big bullish reversal bar. You're probably going to test that high again. and you can see that's what it does, and then it sells off. We spend the rest of the day. This was into the 2 o'clock hour, so some pretty good trades today. Um, Most of your best trades were shorts early on, and this is why I like to come in at 7 o'clock when I can get here that early. There was one day this week I didn't, but generally I'm here by 7 o'clock every day, and all you got to do is catch a couple of these big moves down, um, and you can be done by 10 or 10:30 if you can come in. If you can't trade those hours, that's understandable. Not everybody can. But if you're free to trade whenever you want, if you're becoming a full-time trader, that's when you get most of your good moves. And sometimes you'll get a nice afternoon move like this right here that catches P. And this was a good, lunch hour kind of. I always hear people say, you don't want to trade in the lunch hour. Don't trade then. Nothing happens. Well, look at that move right through the lunch hour. And, you can't, you can't ignore this. Okay, you guys probably can't tell, but I've been gone another 15 minutes. I can't get anything done. The phone's ringing off the hook. Um, I left after I traded this morning and didn't come back till this afternoon. And of course, everybody and their brother is looking for me with questions and needing things. So, and then my family's looking for me as well. So, anyway, I've pretty much covered this one. I'm going to wrap it up. Again, I apologize about yesterday. I've watched my audio a couple of times as I'm doing this one today, and it seems like it's all working properly. So I think I have the issue resolved. Let's hope so. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for today. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see